Again, we start things off in Germany, where the first day of the G20 summit is well underway as we speak. South Korean President Moon Jae-in is also there with other leaders of the participating nations. Let's check back with our top Cheongwadae correspondent Moon Connyoung, who is traveling with the President Press Corps. Connyoung, what's been going on since we last spoke?
Right, Daniel, we're only about two-thirds of the way done with the day one of the G20 Hamburg meeting, and already the leaders of the group of 20 global economic powers have a whole lot under their belts. Now, that's because not only are these heads of states and governments taking part in multilateral summits, but they're also touching base and carrying out one-on-ones with each other. Now, for South Korean President Moon Jae-in, that's particularly true as this is his debut of foreign policy and diplomacy on the international stage. Following a series of bilaterals and trilaterals upon his arrival here in the German port city last night and earlier this morning, the newly elected leader is again meeting with another key power as we speak, Russian President Vladimir Putin. Now, they just a second ago kicked off their meeting, so the details of their bilateral we'll find out later in the day. But among other things, Presidents Moon and Putin will surely discuss North Korea's nuclear missile provocations as well as the critical security situation in the Northeast Asian region. Daniel?
Speed and efficiency seem like necessary traits at the moment. Moon has already taken part in quite a few group meetings or discussions with other group leaders there at the G20, right?
Absolutely, Daniel. The G20 summit this year, meeting under the theme of Shaping an Interconnected World, comprises four primary sessions, two on day one and two on day two, and a closed-door retreat session. Now, President Moon discussed terrorism during the morning retreat session and was among those who led the talks during session one earlier this afternoon. During the retreat session on the topic of terrorism, President Moon brought up the issue of North Korea, saying North Korea's nuclear and missile provocations pose a serious challenge to world peace and international order, and therefore absolutely critical is the international community's close cooperation in dealing with the North. Now, Mr. Moon proposed that the leaders of the G20 work together in putting stronger sanctions and pressure on North Korea. That would include the adoption of a new UN Security Council resolution to bring North Korea to the negotiations table for swift denuclearization of the North. And during the afternoon session, President Moon led the discussions by introducing his government's new economic paradigm of people-centered, fair economy and growth led by job creation and innovation. What's also very noteworthy is that Mr. Moon also made crystal clear that he's against trade protectionism and that he supports a global free trade. Also leading the discussions today during the session were U.S. President Donald Trump, Chinese President Xi Jinping, and Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, among others. The rest of President Moon's first day at the G20 here are filled with various bilaterals with other leaders and cultural and social events. The summit meetings here in Hamburg this year is definitely putting to test Mr. Moon and his team's foreign policy and global diplomacy. Daniel.